Hey, welcome to the X and One Legion cast. This is your host, Randy, coming at you with Matt and Mitch per usual. But we've got our Spice Bro guest today, Preston, all the way back from Adepticon. And this is the start of our two-part series here on Adepticon. So we will take you on a spicy journey of magical Legion times in Chicagoland. We've got some cool pictures to look at, and we're going to hear about some games and thoughts about LCQ stuff, tournament, prize wall. It's going to be great. Stick around. We're going to have a great time. How you guys doing?
Doing good. I'm glad to be back.
Back.
I feel like it's been
Welcome back.
a while. I'm here. I had FOMO. I got to listen to an episode of the podcast as a listener, so that was fun. But yeah, glad to be back.
It's good to have you back. It was
Awesome.
It was a little lonely without you, Matt. Not gonna lie. Randy and I held down the
Yeah, it was a lot of
but,
Mitchum without you, Matt.
Okay.
It's good to have me back too.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about
Welcome.
Preston. I feel like we talked about Preston.
I'm very excited to talk about Adepticon and live vicariously through you guys. So,
Well, hey, it's time for our accountability pressure club here. How's hobbying going?
Mitchum, how you doing, buddy?
hey,
What week are we on? Do you know?
I don't. I think we're on.
This is like week 13.
Yeah, it's like early teens, I want to say. And I am up to 18 models, guys. I'm finally ahead of my goal
he's got a
of
lead.
52. I do. I just got done painting a
Report him.
10-man
He's batching.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's the only way I'm going to get this done. I just got done batch painting a squad of 10 guys for my bolt action British Desert Rat Army. They're a Egypt contingent for the Commonwealth British guys. So it's two like 5-man squads that I put into transports and just kind of teleport around the board when I need them to. So yeah, I think they came out pretty well, and I'm looking forward to painting up some more. I have an anti-tank gun in the works that should be ready here pretty soon. So I'll be up to 19 and, one step closer to 52.
Put him on Instagram, my friendo.
Yeah, I definitely will.
I am mid-process on many minis because I have mental problems that prevent me from just completing one. So still working on those Black Suns. I've got some work done on a Chic mini I 3D printed, Legend of Zelda. And also started my Gar Saxon for Shatterpoint. That's been fun. Man, that Sarastro guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
And apparently I need to get some contrast paints because that guy's just like, oh, I'll just push the paint around here and now the miniature looks amazing. Finish.
So
they make it look so easy.
And I'm like, that did not happen to me.
I love those videos, but this is a sidetrack.
Well, especially the Shatterpoint stuff, because he actually goes in and goes super detailed with them.
Yeah.
I'll stick to the contrast paints. Thank you though.
I'll be following along. I'm like, okay, here's my mine kind of looks like that, not as good. But then he's like, now let's just freehand a little thing right here, and he just nails it. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
and you've lost me.
It's like one of the when you blink,
let's put in some finishing details, and it's like 20 minutes of finishing details,
and now it's ready for the Golden Demon.
Yeah,
and then been painting some
there
swoops.
You go. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Coming along. Painting the bikes have been very fun. Don't really want to paint the riders. I've enjoyed the machine, but they're alien guys, so I might actually enjoy it. So.
Yeah,
rules is written. If the riders don't matter, so because it's only
they're table ready as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
If you figure out a good way to do the axes, let me know because I am smack dab in the middle of a bunch of Wookiees. So I've got 20 of these Wookiees, and I've contrasted the fur. I have not done the blades or the belts on all of them. I've done them on some, but I'm just right in the middle. So if you can figure out a way to make cool blades, just let me know because I have a bunch of blades I need to paint. And I did take the Wookiees on a test run last night. TTS and Randy he got me pretty good. So this is the beginning of a process for me. So it's exciting.
Once the Wookiees actually got in, it did I was like, oh, okay, this could be a little scary. But by that point,
Lots
Black
of good
Suns
Wookiees.
and Bosk had done things, and
there
Pikes
wasn't
had
enough
shot
left.
things. So
Are you doing the Wookiee Battle Force?
It was pretty cool.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, I am. So
Nice.
we'll see how that goes. I figure it's the polar opposite of what I've been playing, so I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, that's not hobby. I'm painting Wookiees. I had dreams of maybe getting them done by this weekend, but that is not happening. So
It's the thought that counts.
yeah. What about you, Preston? You got anything close by? I know you've been doing Geonosians.
Say, I do not have them with me.
We'll post pictures up.
Oh
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah,
I think
they do.
they're probably the best models you've done.
Shucks.
And I guess for the audio,
so
Preston's way better at hobbying than I think the rest of us are. I'd say it's probably pretty fair to say is that Preston's probably on another level.
I think he's put a lot of effort into it, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And
So.
it's showing. I really feel like it's showing on these Geonosians.
well, thanks.
But maybe it's just because it's not Empire, so it's less black and gray and white on everything. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just there's more detail to paint on them, and miniatures wasn't the first thing that I've painted per se. I've always kind of had not quite an art background, but what's the word? I guess I've kind of had a talent for art related things,
Creative.
and so that's kind of transferred. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I know basic color theory, and I watch a lot of YouTube, and it's mostly just I get lucky, I guess, with them looking good, right? Because I just do the basic the Zenithal Prime and then contrast paint on the top, so it just looks like I know what I'm doing, and it's good for me.
I don't
right?
think it's like me.
I mean, that's what I'm
it's
doing.
a little bit of
hobbying.
talent
That's
and
not
some hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's modest. That's
For
modest.
sure.
They were always pretty good, but you can really see the level up on these guys, I feel
Well,
like.
too, in the
sure.
year that I've known you since we started playing Legion, I mean, just your skill has tripled, doubled. It's gone way up, and I feel like mine has only just stayed the same. So, I mean, it's over the year that I've known you, it's really cool to see your progression and your painting and everything. So, and yeah, really, again,
Well,
Randy said,
thanks.
it really shows in the Geonosians. So,
Yeah, we'll
It
post up
helps
some.
that I've painted I guess a ton of minis since I started playing Legion, because I've been playing Legion since what, May of 22 or something like that. It was right after the Skirmish League or something is when I started.
That's right, because February was when the Skirmish League happened.
Yeah.
So a few months after I started, I think.
But we'll post up.
Yeah.
We'll post up some stuff.
So we all kind of
he's
got in
got.
at the same time, didn't we? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Skirmish League got a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. That's
around
our
into
core.
playing.
Our core community is kind of
Tournaments,
came
yeah.
from that league. So,
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Well, speaking of miniatures, here's one. Oh, buried the lead. Okay, there we go.
Oh, there's more Prestons. Yeah.
Hey.
Boba
Faded
Fett
red.
flying majestically through the sky.
Look at him go. I heard Boba Fett actually got wounded taking these photos. Is that true?
Mhm.
Oh no! Oh
So,
no!
yeah, I can't comment on the dealings of the underworld.
Yeah.
Rogues Gallery. They're strong and independent.
Yeah. That's why we bring glue with us on trips. So everything's fine.
Actually, you know what? I actually did break CAD off his base when I was taking these pictures. Picking him up out of my case while I was doing this stupid thing. So yeah, I did actually break CAD off his base.
Nice.
And I realized when I got home, actually his little rebreather thing that he has, I broke it off too. And luckily I didn't lose that, and I got that glued on last night. So everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened. No minis
Very
were
nice.
Mostly no minis were harmed in the making of this podcast.
No pain, no gain.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do it for
builds
the
character.
gram. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no. I'm glad you got to share some of your stuff on here, and I'll post some more. I'll post some Geonosian stuff on the old Instagram because I think there's some of the cooler minis I've seen, but for the Geonosians especially, because they just look really good.
Yeah,
So,
I love this action shot of Boba though.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah,
so I got Geonosians done, and I'm kind of like the opposite of Randy, where it's like I can't start painting other things. Like I make myself like finish something before I open it or open a new box. So
sounds like a wonderful problem to have.
Right. So I got them finished. So I finally cracked open the Vader 2 box for Shatterpoint. So Emperor Servant Vader, and then the Stormtrooper guys. And so I'm getting them put together, getting them painted. I'm very excited for that.
Very cool.
Yeah. Do you just want to take us into your trip? I guess you left on Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Let's see. I left OKC about noon. And flew to Chicago. Got there about like 3:00 or so. Landed there. Took it over to the hotel and just kind of hung out there. Pausing.
What is with these ducks?
Well, first of all, they're Canadian geese.
Okay,
are they
so
ducks?
for the listeners, there's a photo of two geese in the middle of what looks like a fairly busy intersection.
Yeah. So, I forget what's the bit in Letterkenny when they're talking about the geese. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I have not watched it. My wife is trying to make me watch that show. So.
Yeah, no.
It's like if you've got a problem with Canadian geese, you've got a problem with me, and I suggest you let that one marinate. So yeah. Anyway, so these two geese. So I'm walking. So I get to the hotel, get myself back, and I'm like the place where Adepticon is. It's like a 15-minute walk or so. So I walk in. I stop at a Michael's nearby to grab super glue to obviously repair Cad Bane. But anyway, do that. Start walking up, and these geese are just sitting in the middle of the road. And this is like a turn lane where they're at. So they're just sitting there. One's just sitting there honking, and like making the other cars go around it. And I'm just like, fucking geese, man.
Go around me.
Yeah. I like sent my wife Snapchats of it.
That's hilarious.
There you go.
Like I'm surprised there wasn't a wreck there.
Not a care in the world.
Yeah.
It's their world.
Classic
We're just living
geese.
in it.
Give no shits.
Was this your first time to Chicago?
Second time.
Okay.
I stayed in downtown Chicago for like a Business Professionals of America thing a while back. But
okay.
First time in Schaumburg.
Gotcha.
Which is where the convention was at.
Yeah.
Oh.
Press wall. So yeah, got to the hotel. So got to the Renaissance where registration was at. Picked up my stuff, and then actually ran into Drew and Mike after that. And so we just kind of hung out after that. I think we got dinner after that, and then went home. And then the next morning is kind of where this picks up, which is the prize wall and getting registered for the LCQ and getting ready for that to start. So it's just kind of in line taking pictures of all the prize wall stuff. So I get sent to you guys on the Discord. So lots of really cool stuff.
And that in that picture, there's those the sideboard mats.
Yeah, the sideboards are so
and
cool.
Those were there all weekend. And so I was like, oh, that's an interesting sideboard mat they have there. And then turns out that's like a preview for two separate unit deals with the riot troops and then the
yeah. So that's the art for the riot control squad, I think is what they're called, and then the sleeper cell unit.
Yeah, so they were kind of playing with us all weekend.
Yeah, so it was clever.
Yeah, so
good job, AMG.
Yeah,
good job.
Were those the normal prize cards or were they foils?
Those were all regular price cards. Like for the most part, at least as far as the Legion one goes, I think we'd seen most of them. But there was a full art Geonosian one, and then there was one. I think Clan Ren was the other one that I hadn't seen before. I don't know if they've been released in previous ones or not, but obviously the Geonosian one was new. And then the other stuff is what Armada and X-Wing looks like in MCP.
Okay.
And then I think so. They got sidebars, and then some of the other cases there's like foil Shatterpoint cards, foil Legion cards.
I don't know. I got these out of order. I'll figure it out.
I did get the Obi-Wan foil. I think I'm going to give it to Dylan, but I did.
Nice.
I did save up for that because it was like one of the only foils that kind of made sense. In that 5-ticket box, there was the Chewie reprint was correct.
That's right. That's
it
right.
had been fixed. So I think they
corrected that.
Yeah, they fixed the cards that were wrong. But
well, that's good at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this prize box or this case had basically acrylic tool sets for all different games except for Legion. I think the only thing in there was that little round counter at the bottom, which I guess makes sense because it's probably harder to make acrylic tools for Legion because movement tools are bendy.
Yeah.
That
Thrawn
was a cool one.
That's pretty sweet.
Pretty dope. That's straight out of the book too.
They do care about Armada. It's not dead. They made a sideboard for it.
And then sent them to the other hotel to never be seen again.
Yeah.
It was cool. They had one for each game, I think. I can't remember if MCP had one because they had one for Shatterpoint, which I think was the coolest one there. Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And I actually noticed on it, and I showed it to. I think I told Drew that. So the Vader art isn't for either of the two Vaders that are currently out, and then the Ahsoka art is different too. And so I was like, dual pack for Vader and Ahsoka, maybe. But they didn't reveal it, so maybe it's kind of like last year's dual pack, where it's a surprise for May the 4th.
This will be made clear in 2025.
Probably.
Well, I know that they're just cranking out Shatterpoint stuff, so
right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's kind of my other thing. Is like, do we really need a third Vader? Like, we have two now. It would be cool to have another Ahsoka.
All right. Ahsoka's always cool.
So is there
three Ahsokas?
Yeah, you can. I was like, wait a second. Have 3 Ahsokas. I'll die on that hill.
Well, at least they had Ahsoka as like Fulcrum Ahsoka. And then they had a couple of those prints. I only took a picture of Delta Squad because Delta Squad was the coolest one. But this is the other one. There's dice for each of the games. I guess they didn't have white attack dice for Legion, which is weird, but they had black and red.
Well, it's those clear ones people don't like.
Everybody
I guess they didn't want to make new ones of yet.
Maybe. I didn't know if those were the same ones or not, because those ones aren't clear. They're like marbled, kind of like the ones that came in the store championship kit.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else in here was like foil cards for Legion, Shatterpoint, MCP, that kind of stuff. I ended up getting a Grievous and Dooku foil Shatterpoint cards. I was short, like 5 tickets, I think, at the end. I said, hey, Drew, can you take my lead card up here and like go give me some punches? So I can get like 9 tickets or whatever.
Oh, is the big number? Is that the ticket price? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's the price of the stuff.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So most of the stuff we're getting was probably like 25 plus tickets. I can't remember how much the lanyards were, but yeah, lots of cool stuff. Cool. More lanyards. I ended up getting the Shatterpoint toolkit up there. That was 75 tickets. It's pretty cool. It has basically different Mando weapons on it. So it's got like Boba's rifle from range 5, and then I think it's Din Djarin's whistling birds for range 4, and then a flamethrower, and I think a vibro knife for the other ones. So yeah, those are really cool. I think Mike piled on a bunch of tickets to buy 2 of those for price for Shatterpoint tournaments. So get on him.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. That'll be cool.
I really,
Yeah, those are really
like
cool.
the movement tools and range tools a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of good
Pretty
stuff. It seemed
cool.
like I didn't realize how much stuff they had to give away, and those prints looked really cool. And did you like the ticket system that they did? And I mean, how did you earn tickets and stuff?
So tickets were, I think it depends on the type of game or which game you're playing. So the larger games like Legion, I think, Legion Armada would give you six tickets for playing, and I think like 2 for winning. Was it? Is that right?
I think it was
Matt?
8 for playing, 2 for winning,
That's right.
and it was 5 for the other
5,
X-Wing.
yeah,
and
5 for the 3x3 games, and then
Yeah.
1
Gotcha.
for winning. So
Okay.
So it took me a day or two. It's that's probably my one gripe is I feel like the pricing was a little too expensive, especially for the sidebars. And they actually had 3x3 mats too that you could buy, but like those were 150 plus tickets. So basically, you had to pull your resources, and it's like, especially for the sidebars, like if you're playing Legion, you need 2 of them basically because they're 6 inch by 3 feet. So
yeah,
that kind of sucked. I feel like maybe they should have been a little cheaper, like what, 30% cheaper or something like that. Just so your tickets go a little longer way without, because not everybody's there with a group, so like you can't rely on having to pull tickets to get some of the cooler stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's kind of where I ended up. Was I got my 6 black dice, I got my 2 red dice, I got that foil Obi-Wan card, and then it's like, well, at that point I've spent like 60 tickets.
Right.
So I'm kind of taking myself out of the running for any of the more expensive items. So I ended up, I gave away like 18 tickets I had at the end of the day, just because I wasn't going to, do I buy 2 more black dice? It's like, probably not. I don't really run a lot of white save stuff. And at this point, I can't get a whole set of the white dice. So, just kind of in between. So I guess I could have given it to somebody. I did give it to my opponent the last round. And I don't know what to do with it, but I wasn't doing anything with it. So
I feel like you should have gotten more dice. Like,
yeah,
at least like 3 to 4 dice for what you were spending.
Yeah, that's probably fair. But I ended up with 6 black, 2 of the red. The red are kind of purpley marbly. I'm not even gonna bother trying to hunt those down just because Randy would probably try to strangle me through the through the microphone if I start reaching into my dice box. But yeah, so they look pretty cool. They're kind of purpley, a little marbly. So and the black dice obviously look cool. I don't know if the black dice rolled hot. I heard people talking about the white defense dice maybe rolling hot, but I definitely had some opponents that blanked with them too. So not that hot at least, but.
That's spoken like a true red save player. Anytime a white save
real.
guy makes a save, they're just like, "Oh, those dice are loaded. What are you doing?"
That's what I sounded like last night when Preston and I played. He made a ton of saves with Cad, and I was like, "Oh, this is a stupid game." Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Cad does saving like a madman.
Cat's a little tanky. He's either tanky or nothing.
He's good. He's
good.
Looks like you got some great pictures of the units coming out. You got some range troopers here, and there's some. It's got Cody and the fifth brother, seventh sister back there, and then
some
cool
of the
shot of commandos.
Yeah,
my boys. There they are.
It was really cool seeing all the models in person.
Did we talk about the commandos new gun?
I think you and
the scenes the sat stuff.
You and Randy talked
that
about them
just came out.
It just came out recently, yeah.
Yes,
all right.
How long do we have, Randy? Do we have a whole
All right,
episode to talk
30
about
seconds
them?
each. I'm all right. So the gun, it's reconfigurable.
Yep.
Range 1 to 2 for 2
Mhm.
black. You get impact 1 that stacks, and it's also got scatter, which I think is cool. And then the spicy one is the other side, which is the range 3 to 4. Red die.
Red
Yeah.
die.
High
lethal.
velocity, lethal 1.
Yep.
Which I'm
Does
sure
that
is the
stack
side
as
that's
well?
going to get used a lot. No, you
Lethal's-
do not get
It
lethal.
says on the
4.
card it does not stack.
Okay, but
Yeah.
the impact does stack.
Yes, the
Yes.
impact
Oh,
does
okay,
stack.
interesting. Okay,
Yes. So
and
what does it
the gun
say
upgrade
is-
is free as well.
Yeah.
which is huge.
yes.
They're not exhaustible, but you can only use them once before you have to recover. So yeah, super. Still haven't seen any Delta unit card, which I'm kind of waiting for. But yeah, spicy, super spicy.
Okay, my 30 seconds.
Okay, go.
I think we thought the upgrades were going to cost points. They don't. That's great. Randy's going to cry when I put 2 high velocity red dice past cover 3 different times in a round. So sorry in advance about that.
Well done. Well done.
I'm really excited for you to roll 2 hits every time and they just go to cover.
Hey, if I roll 3, it's 1. 1 pierce 1 high velocity. That's a wound, baby.
That's true.
So
All right.
anyway,
Got to keep the danger sense up at all times. That's what you're telling me.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right,
Take cover.
right.
Take cover on your pikes. Get that free.
Do I get my
cease
30
diversion.
seconds now?
Go.
They seem absurdly costed for what they are.
Right.
That's it.
Undercosted.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
Yes. I am curious if these are costed for a version of the game we are not playing yet. That is my TED Talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they're so aggressively costed, in my opinion, that it makes me wonder, like,
Between them and Inquisitors,
like, what is Delta gonna bring, and is it going to be enough to justify their extra costs with how good the base unit is?
that's a great question.
It's going to have to be something. I mean, you're right. It's going to have to be something. I don't know what other keyword you slap on there to make them better, but they will be. Or maybe.
What if they're an
they just
operative
not-
with command cards?
They
Are we-
might be, but I kind of feel like
Maybe they're not.
They don't
gonna
wanna
be-
compete
4
with Bad
boxes?
Batch.
Are they going to get 4 boxes out of me? They already got 3 at this point. Are they going to get 4 boxes out of me?
You'll buy it and you'll like it.
Yeah, you will.
If they're an operative and they're good, I will buy it and I will like it. Yes.
Maybe
They will
there's not a
probably be
point
support
increase.
still.
Maybe they're
I
just
might
going
buy
to be
4
75
anyway.
points.
I might buy 4 anyway.
I have a feeling they'll be the same. They'll just have named characters that you take.
they
Yeah.
might be like an extra
Cost
wound
points.
each or something.
Yeah.
Extra wound.
Just-
But
mini
that
decks.
alone,
That's still really good.
Yeah, 2 wounds, yeah.
Spicy.
The spice.
All right. There was other things there. Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
So is this your LCQ games?
this was doubles, I think.
Doubles? Okay, let's not go into that. There's some sweet Shatterpoint dice.
So those were
Oh,
from
those are cool.
Yeah, those
Yes.
are from Baron of Dice.
I wanted these. They looked very nice.
Yeah.
I bought two sets, so I'd have basically a complete set of Shatterpoint Dice. So
Nice.
I'll let you roll them sometime, Randy.
Oh,
I'll
thank
let
you.
let's say I'll let you hold them.
They look good.
Yeah. So LCQ was Thursday, though, right?
Yes.
So yeah, why don't you get into that? How did they get you all organized? I'll try to find a picture of the hall because there's a ton of tables. But yeah, just get into that.
So LCQ was, let's see, we got registered about 8:00. I think games, and it was supposed to start at 8:30. I think it did end up starting late. But they had probably at least 100+ tables of Legion. It was really cool to see. So do you want me to just go straight into my matches for the most part?
Yeah, and you don't have to go super in depth on them if you want. You can just kind of tell us what you were playing and give some highlights.
Sure.
And what you, I guess, thought of how the LCQ was run, for good or bad.
Let's see. So I've been running my Imperial Remnant list that just about everybody here is familiar with. It's Moff Gideon. I'm a Moff Gideon stan, so gotta run Gideon. Only one unit of Dark Troopers, but it is a double heavy version, so it's a 5-man unit. And then I run 2 Death Troopers with HH-12s, Recon Intel, transponders. What's the other stuff? Short Troopers with the Stormtrooper T-21. Save 10 points there. And then Stormtroopers with a medic to help keep the Death Troopers alive, and then 2 E-Webs because I think E-Webs are awesome. And if they're not going to be good anywhere else, then let's run them the one place they are pretty good.
Yeah.
So 9 activations plus the extra Dark Troopers, so it's about 10 acts. I had a 3-point bid so that I could, if I ran into any clone balls or anything like that, stuff that wasn't the turtle, that I can kind of like influence the battlefield against them to where it's easier to actually kill their stuff. So
cool. And before you get into the games, and Matt, you can chime in on this too. What did you guys think about the tables? As far as they look good, but as far as how dense they were, was there a ton of scatter? Was it a lot of LOS blockers?
They were mostly pretty good, I think. Some of them were open, some of them were not open. There was one table I saw, I think Preston actually played on, that the center was like boxed in a building, which is kind of so very not standard table setup. So I think they kind of varied them a little bit. There's, I don't know, I'd say there's probably 30-ish variations of the same kind of terrain. Like you'd see same kind of terrain, but in a different setting, painted a different way, kind of set up. But then they'd place it differently. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. There were some tables I didn't really love. There were some tables I thought was pretty cool. So I'd say it was, especially for the amount of terrain they had to provide. In my understanding, it was Adepticon and then Nick Bodnar and then 5th Trooper maybe that did all of it.
That's right.
Which is kind of insane. So, it for that, I'd say it was good. But, it's there's 100 and however many tables. So
was it was it mostly Legion terrain stuff, or were there any
it was
custom
definitely
pieces?
all Legion terrain.
Okay.
Which is cool. And it was I'd say theme, like setting, like the way it looked, I'd say it was all great. It's just some of these tables, like there was a couple of them like Mandalorian season 3, like where the planet's glass, and it's like there's like the jagged crystals up everywhere.
Yeah, I think I have do I have a picture of that one? The Mandalore map?
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite maps.
I hated playing on it, but I did think it looked really cool because the crystals all kind of jut out, and it's just yes, I think I might have played on this exact table.
Yeah.
And it's just a pain. And we didn't discuss the terrain probably correctly. And so the big piece there, we kind of made all one piece of terrain, and it got really stupid when we were both on that rock shooting at each other because it was open shots because we had said it was one piece of terrain, which is, I mean, probably half my fault at least, but it ended up being pretty not fun in practice. So, and then some of those on the big terrain, some of the crystal pieces that stick up are shorter than silhouette. Some of them aren't. So then you're like, what can I see? What can I see? And it's just,
and there's nothing to stand on really except for that ship.
Yes. And the big flat rock that gave me heavy cover for most of the game.
This table looks good in theory, but if you don't break up the big terrain pieces into multiple individual like rocks or stuff like that, it wouldn't be as effective. I think
You're talking
it
about
looks great.
the big one on the far left.
Yes, the big one on the far left. We were playing Sabotage, and I kind of had made my.
that should be 5 pieces probably.
Yeah, for
probably.
sure.
Anyway, so we messed it up, and this might not be the exact table, but it was these crystals. It was
because
one.
It looks like there's another one.
Yes,
there's one there
on the row behind it,
and there's one straight back.
Two tables back.
That's what I'm saying. So there's multiple variations of very similar tables all over, which I think you have to do just because there are not enough STLs for you to print that exist.
Well, if you're only doing Legion terrain, then yeah. I mean you can't.
Let's all just rejoice that they're not all sand villages.
They're not all Tusken Raider villages.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure. Victory there.
Like a banta.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd say overall good. I'd say good to very good, but there were individual tables I didn't love, but there were individual tables I thought were really cool. So, and that just happens with that many tables. So
I think overall the variety was a win.
Yes, for sure.
There's just maybe 1 or 2 tables that were stinkers.
That's good. That's good. That's a win for sure.
Yeah. So take us through your first game.
Okay.
How'd that go?
My first game was. Let's see. I did write some notes here.
Wow! Look at you being prepared. We're so proud of you.
I wrote all of them today, so don't give me too much credit. So my first game was against one of the 5280 Legion guys, so Colorado. He was playing 12 activation Bright Tree Village. So that was scary for me because I never played against Ewoks. One, I'm glad it's not the 14 activation one, but still 12 acts and not having played against Ewoks was
does that have an ATST in it?
No, it was basically
the Han trick.
Yeah, it was the Han trick. So it was Han, Chewie, C-3PO, and then I think just 9 Ewoks. Various, what is it, the skirmishers, and then the warriors, or whatever the other one's called. The slingers, yeah. He had said that he'd tried the 14 activation one, but I think he likes having more upgrades on less squads, and I can't blame him for that. So,
yeah.
Well, and hey, if you don't know when the game's going to be over, maybe having a few less acts to manage is good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I might be able to. Let's see. Can I share my screen? I can't remember if I put it in the album, but I definitely have a picture of.
You can just shoot it to me on Discord if you want.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
And then I'll post it up.
Yeah. Just copy and paste.
So this was one convention hall, and it held Legion, and I saw X-Wing.
Legion, X-Wing, Shatterpoint, and MCP.
And then as the day went on, they'd open up the wall and like it would be connected to the vendor hall. So there was 3 halls that were all connected. It was like AMG area on one side, then the vendor hall in the middle, and then the other side was all the Warhammer and all the other stuff.
GW stuff.
Yeah.
And then okay. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. So it was a big venue, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Important question. How was the bathroom situation? Were they close? Were you close? Were there a lot of them?
Not
asking
great.
For a friend, just very important for future.
Not great.
Oh.
Especially during peak times. I think there were probably 2 bathrooms. I think there were one on each side of the hall, which is a giant hall, and it was not ideal. I was involved in a line a couple of times, so
yeah, no bueno. Cap.
Okay.
Intermission over. Back to regular schedule program.
So this is a table I played on. You can see so we ended up playing Recover. Can't remember what the condition was. Let's see. Yeah, it was hostile environment. Okay, so it's Battle Lines, Recover, hostile environment. You can kind of see how I deployed because I was terrified of log trap just nuking my dark troopers. Like I wasn't sure how hard that was going to hit. So basically, you can see that I have the dark troopers behind. I basically deployed half my units of death troopers, one E-web, stormtroopers on one side, and then short troopers the other E-web. And then Moth is like totally hidden between that silo and that the other building, and then the dark troopers on the other side of that. So at least he couldn't get line of sight of them easily to hit them with log trap. Because I don't know when you play log trap as that list. So played that way. He ended up doing the reckless diversion trip, I think turn 1. Because he had, you can see how they're all kind of dogpiled onto Han, like right in the middle there of that cluster on the left of the building next to the turn counter. But he had those other 2 units off to the right with face at border token. So it's like, fine, I'm just going to shoot them to death troopers because they're rage force, so they could already reach all the way across and start. Because I've listened to Scoundrels podcast. They're like, you got to go Ewok hunting. It's like, all right, I'm going to go Ewok hunt. So started shooting them, suppressing them. It was more or less a bloodbath, unfortunately for him. He was able to run a couple of Ewoks up, I think turn 2 or 3 into melee with my dark troopers. I tried to teleport them out, but he sorry about the mess with me, or whatever it is that makes me play different. It's change of plans, right? Yeah.
Yeah, change of plans. Yeah, that's smart.
Yes. Yeah, so I was like, okay, fine. And I can't remember if I just played the Gideon's Fire Support card or just like Assault or something. So I just kind of went with it. And I was just like, I'm just going to keep shooting these Ewoks. And Wicket got to the middle box, which was just behind that central cluster of crystals in the middle. He got the box and was able to get back kind of to building where he initially deployed, but Dark Troopers and everyone else had kind of caught up. And basically, I think Han was almost dead at this point. Most of the Ewoks are dead by about turn. I think turn 4, I ended up playing Gideon's 1/5. And so I killed Han with that. And I think Low Gray was the only one left with the right cluster of Ewoks. There's a box over there they had dropped. There were 2 boxes in the middle that had been dropped. I picked up 2 of my boxes. And so turn 4 rolls around. We just kind of talked out. It's like, yeah, I'm probably going to end up with all 5 boxes at this point. So we just kind of called it there. So
how'd you guys play that crystal in the middle terrain wise? Was it heavy cover, light cover?
It was heavy cover, but it wasn't like line of sight. It's like true to line of sight. So if we could see silhouettes through the crystal gaps, which I could shoot, and that was helpful because I ended up moving that second UAV on the right, basically right between the 2 crystal clusters. So there's the one on the right in the middle by itself, and then the 2 crystal clusters in the middle. So I had the UAV like right between them, just taking standbys.
Yeah.
Shooting stuff, search grid, which was pretty great and impressive. So that helped as well. Yeah, won that match. Pretty excited. So game 2 was against. So it was Callus with Inquisitors, and then I think 2 units of Nagdet Black Suns. So that was interesting. I think double short, double mortar. I think it was only like 7 or 8 activations. It was actually it seemed like a newer guy.
Wow, yeah. I don't think I've seen a list like that before.
Right.
I mean, Inquisitors are cheap, so you can bring at least 9 activations for sure. So,
was he just pressing W, like running him in, or
kind of? Yeah, that's what it seemed like. We ended up playing. It's funny. I took a slight bid, and I think I was blue player only in round 3. I think I was really fun.
It's funny how that works out, right?
Right. So this time it was recover the supply again, but we were playing hemmed in and supply drop. So, and Matt knows the table I was playing on. It was not great. So basically, he got to start like right up against that building that neither of us liked. Not a very favorable map for me. But I kind of did the same thing. I put my main force on the right side of the hemmed in, and then the Death Trooper murder ball on the left side with an E-web, and just kind of guarded both sides of the door. He ran his Black Suns on the left side and was able to get them up, and did start murdering Death Troopers as Black Suns do. But luckily, I was kind of able to suppress them quite a bit, and he had forgotten about Dauntless. So,
yeah,
and that's like the Black Suns' whole thing, right? It's like they could
For
still
sure.
move. So that helped. I think I did actually panic them once. But I think the real game changer was my scout troopers were actually with my main force, and I had scouted them ahead to a box I had put behind a building, and he wanted to flank me with Seven Sister and try to kill them. But I saw it coming, so instead of taking a dodge with my independent, I took an aim. So I activated them first and moved up and shot Seven Sister before she had a dodge on her. And I dealt 4 wounds to her.
Ooh,
out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so
Yeah.
they just decided they wanted to be gods because she ran into them and somehow only killed 2 of them with their white surging saves.
Again with
And
those white dice, man. I'm telling you. Loaded.
Sometimes
All of them. All of
that's
them.
how it goes. And
Except
next round,
Rebels.
Next round, they basically went first and punched her lights out. She was gone.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
from games I've seen, it seems like if you can get a hold of Seventh Sister early and before she kind of has some tech up, she seems pretty easy to down. Fifth Brother is a different story, I think, but I think
Mhm.
without her, he's less effective. So I think you try to corner her and pick her off, and then he just kind of is just flailing and just, I don't know.
Yeah,
Not really,
and
pretty much a non-factor.
He had already played the you would question me card. That was his first round. So that's like he never got the chance to go with Fifth Brother and like do an aim or whatever and give her a dodge. And so I was like, I got to take this chance and try to kill her before she runs in my forces.
Mhm.
The rest of the game was kind of back and forth. He ended up getting Fifth Brother in. I think I lost 3 Dark Troopers to him before he went down. But he also, the other big thing was he didn't know that emplacements can claim the boxes. So he had a mortar like right next to the middle box the entire game and didn't pick it up. And by the time he realized it, I had Dark Troopers there and they deleted him.
Oh,
So-
so he didn't know, so he wasn't doing it. I thought you did something with
Yeah.
the E-webs. Okay.
No.
Because
No.
I showed up late to this because I was doing my Swiss stuff during this.
That's
and
right. Yeah, you did
My
show
game
up.
was over, and I show up, and it's just a bloodbath. Because I look at Preston's sideboard, and I see like a bunch of Dark Troopers. I see a bunch of guys. I'm like, oh no. And I look at his sideboard, and I see a bunch of Black Suns, and Inquisitors and everything. I'm like, oh shoot. So I don't know. And then everything was inside this little courtyard. So I could literally, without like craning over the table, like couldn't even really see what was going on in there. So it was pretty crazy. And then, then you said that he didn't know the emplacement rules. I had assumed that meant that he wasn't ready for you to grab it with the E-web, but apparently it was him not grabbing it with the mortar.
Yeah, with the mortar. So that was a big one. And I think what sealed it was so the Death Troopers were dead, but my Stormtroopers were still alive up on that staircase thing, if you remember that. So they double moved down to touch the box and get in a melee with the Black Suns, and they were able to like kill the last Black Sun before he could pick up the box. And so with my next activation, I claimed the box. And he was like, so I can't steal the box from you, right? And it's like, nope. It was like, so that's kind of gay at that point.
Oh, there's
So
Drew.
you're 2-0 at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
living up to the cast name right there. You just now you just got to take one for the team at this
Exceeding.
point.
Say, don't worry, that one's coming, baby.
So how many rounds did you get through in the first two?
Yeah. First two, we did get through all 6.
Okay. Or they checked out. Okay.
Yes.
Did you feel pressed? Like when they finally called the games, did you feel like, oh, I had plenty of more time?
I feel like, yeah, I don't remember feeling like, oh no, we're not going to get to turn 6. Like I think between my first game, like we were both competent players, and then the second game helped, like that he was like low activation, so he was getting through his stuff really quickly. So no, I didn't feel like I had an issue with time per se. I know some of the rules, right, for Galactic Conquest were weird. I didn't personally run into those issues.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's good to hear.
They don't suck, but you know.
Oh yeah. But,
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's great that it didn't come up.
Yeah.
That's good to hear that the time thing wasn't a kind of a non-factor for you for your first couple games, and it didn't really come up. So that's good to hear.
Yeah. And I feel like I made a conscious effort to play quicker than I normally do, mainly for that reason. It's like,
did either one of your opponents like start a timer as soon as you came to the table, like 2.5 hours? Or I heard that was a big thing that people were doing just to have kind of keep track of their own. Or did you see any chess clocks or anything that people were using or stuff like that?
I did not.
Okay.
Maybe I imagined it was probably. Did you see a lot of that, Matt, in the actual worlds?
Well, yes, because I was doing it. So, so yeah, I guess little side deal. Right, I flew in. This is the morning I flew in. I got there at the convention center by like 10:30, 11. So I made round 2. So I was playing during this on the Swiss event. Round 2, I played a Wookiee guy. He had phase 2s. I pretty much I fire supported a full Wookiee off the board. The first activation, and then it just kind of kept going from there. So that was my little quick battle report. Yeah, I was doing the timer, and I didn't have a lot of trouble. I finished all my games all weekend, so that's a win for me. I think we hit the 15 minutes left, but I'd say mostly the timer thing was just more annoying than actively. It wasn't like a negative. I'd be pretty neutral, other than like it just was just a pain to have to even think about, not knowing what time was left. I just rather know.
100%.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem getting through my games or anything, so it wasn't like a huge negative like I was thinking maybe it could be. But yeah.
Oh, cool.
So
round 3 or
Round
game
3?
3? Yeah, how'd game 3 go?
Game 3, I think, was against the guy who ended up winning the LCQ. So, I think he
did not win that one then.
Nope.
Hey,
sure didn't.
He went 2-1 for the pod, man.
Yeah. I lost for the content. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely didn't want that badge card or anything.
No, not at all.
No. Yeah. So he was playing Double Dark Troopers with a Gav tank. So just fuck me, right?
That's just what you're doing.
Us.
That's what you're doing, but with more Dark Troopers.
Yeah. Well, it was double. It was like at least I had the decency not to run 2 Dark Troopers. But in hindsight, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should have. But of course, the one time I did double darks at the last store championship we did, like I lost my first game. So it's like maybe I just stick to what I know, right?
Matchup dependent is how I would describe double darks, right?
Right.
It's can they kill armor? If no, you win the game.
Yeah.
And if they can, then they get killed. So
at least in my game, I think it was more like, obviously I had the critical and the impact to deal with it. It was just like literally skill issue for me because I think in hindsight, so we ended up playing intercept, and then I was like, okay, well maybe I force. It was stupid, right? So I was like, Well, maybe I'll try to force disarray and make him ban it. So it doesn't have to be a pain in the ass with deploying. So, but it's like also, like I don't really mind disarray, but I guess he didn't really mind it either because basically what ended up happening is like he took one corner and he put Moff Gideon and like the Dark Troopers and the tank in one, and one unit of Stormtroopers. So he had 3 naked Stormtroopers to fill out the list, right? And they just stuck the other 2 in the other square to kind of deal with that side. And so I was like, okay, well, on the long side of the table, I'll put my Death Troopers over there so they can start shooting tank or start shooting with the rocket launchers. And I was an idiot. It's like, well, I'll put them just out of 4 so that he has to move up first, and then I can just take shots. And then I put my Dark Troopers and everyone else in the top right square, on the opposite side. He did not do that. He decided he was going to pivot the tank and go and nuke Gideon round 1 because I did not hide him behind line of sight blocking terrain. And turns out when he plays his fire support card and you don't, that makes a big difference because he ran the tank up there and shot it, and then fire supported his Dark Troopers into Gideon. Gideon somehow lived, and then I think he took another Dark Trooper shot after that, and still lived. He ended up, dying at the very end of round 1, but still, like I just played Assault, so it's like, well, there goes half my hand. It like through this kind of game at that point because it's like I can't stop anything he's doing. It's going to take too long for the Dark Troopers to get up before they die because at that point he just kind of pivoted the Dark Troopers and started moving them across the field, as Dark Troopers do. So,
sounds like that season 3 of Mandalorian clone armor or plot armor that Moff had, that Mando armor.
Say his Moff did for sure.
That's rough.
So
that's rough. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah,
but you got close.
Yeah.
One of our team, the Oklahoma team, Brian Cook,
Dust Bowl Bounty Hunters.
Yep. Made it through the LCQ.
Yep.
And he actually, I think he legally owns the pod now. He went X-1 on the weekend overall. I think he went 7-1 through because he went undefeated through LCQ and then he went 3-1 on day 1 of Worlds. So,
oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
good for him. That was he was playing, of course, experimental droids. So I think he's a droid guy and he made the correct play. I think.
I heard they're pretty good.
Yeah, and he played it well. Obviously, I know he likes running the Magna. I don't know if that's RPS or not off the top of my head, but I know that some people run the B2 Ha. But he's a Magna guy. It obviously did great. So good for him. My 3rd round of Swiss event, because I missed the first one for flight, played the second one. 3rd one, I played a guy named Nav from the UK. He was definitely a better player than me. It was a lot of fun. We did intercept. He had ran Anakin Padme, and he just outcloned me. He had the tech, he had the skill difference. We placed Skittles on the intercept points. He just had traded me down to where it was going to be difficult for me to even try to contest on turn 6. And I needed to contest on turn 6 to have a chance and still probably lose on kill points. So I ended up just conceding. And I didn't want to play 3 games. So I dropped from the Swiss event after that. And we all went to Lou Malnati's and got some pretty good pizza.
Duh. So, yeah, how was the food up there? Did you guys eat well at least?
Definitely. Yeah. Lou Malnati's is good. I've heard that's some people's what they think is the best pizza in the Chicago area. We went to Portillo's, which they do hot dogs. They did this cake shake thing, which I have a love-hate. It's okay, so it's literally like they stuck a piece of cake in a shake and then like stuck some ice cream like around it up. It was like I was drinking a cake. It was like you could turn upside down, no movement. And that thing stayed with me the rest of the weekend.
Sounds like diabetes in a cup right there.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. I stuck it in the fridge. I looked at it the next day. It looked like it had turned back into a cake, so I just left it there.
So you
And
definitely
then-
ate it, right?
And then I was
Yeah.
feeling a little rough the rest of the weekend, and I never finished that bad boy. So the large cake shake at Portillo's is overkill. You do not.
Oof.
I'm a big boy. I got a little bigger because of that shake. You don't need it. Just get the normal size. So, but yeah, no, it was food I'd say was pretty good. Yeah, I was having a lot of fun hanging out. But yeah, Illuminati's took a little bit, but I think by then we pretty much. I think I might have played some Unlimited after that, but then it was pretty much getting ready for day one. And Preston's putting his Shatterpoint pants on because it's going to be Shatterpoint time for him. But yeah, no.
Yeah, because so back to the Legion, the LCQ. So it was the top 3 people that made the Worlds event out of the LCQ. Is that correct?
Yes, because we did not end up being a full 64 people. So instead of the top 4 was the top 3.
So
And then
was
the guy
there
who finished
one undefeated
first,
that got in, and then 2 3-1s?
They were all undefeated.
Yeah.
They were all undefeated. Okay, so Brian did go undefeated.
Yeah, he went 4-0.
Oh, gotcha.
So he did not make Illuminati's. He was playing. So we had him up on the stream.
Yeah.
And he was doing, I think it might have been Experimental Droids. I think it was Experimental Droids Mirror for the final.
No, I think he was. Well, no, you're right. You're right, because they couldn't both be undefeated. I was gonna say, I thought he played the guy that I played.
Maybe he did, but he did. I know Brian went undefeated, and I think there was 3 guys that made it through, and I think one of them was a big X-Wing guy, so I think he actually didn't even play day 1 of Worlds.
Oh,
which is I can see where someone might be frustrated about that.
Stick it to the man. Hey,
what are you gonna do?
Say, speaking of, I think the person that beat me, so he played the Double Dark Gavs. I noticed in Worlds he was playing Wookiees. Then he won his first game and dropped for some reason.
Oof.
And it's like, I don't think it was because he had to leave or anything, because I definitely remember seeing him around the convention several times, and it's just like,
I would like that Bad Batch card, please.
Yeah, he had a limit.
Give me my Bad Batch card.
He's like, those are going for $250 on eBay. I'm gonna get that card, pick it up, sell that thing, and
pay for my whole trip.
Go over to the vendor area and see what happens.
That Bad Batch card, that alt art was pretty sexy, by the way. It looked real good. Gave us a lot to talk about for the first couple days of Worlds before they had their big stream announcement and stuff like that. So that was all the talk back here in Oklahoma. Just
I was like emergency content, and then like post the picture. Apparently I wasn't the first one, but I was like, I'm doing my
content
duty.
Drought.
Doing my duty
glass.
as the on-scene X and 1 boy. But yeah, no, very cool card. And I actually my round 1, so we get that card, right? And I'm like kind of talking about it. And I think I annoyed my opponent. I think he was like really wanting to start the game. And I was like, look at it. Like they get all these people on there and stuff. Like, it has steady.
Yeah, man, he spent the past hour listening to the 8 Mile soundtrack to get pumped up
like,
for
I
this
don't
game,
care.
and you're sitting here talking about, "Ooh, look at this art, man! They're so cool."
Okay, I don't know
There's
if
a
we
gold stamp on it.
If we want to get into my battle deal, or I can go. I can go real
for
fast.
the main tournament.
Yeah,
let's save it for part 2.
Okay,
and we'll just do the main tournament all together. Before, I want to hear your last favorite things from the week, I guess, at least from Preston. But speaking of cards, if you need things to hold your cards, one of our buddies that went with you guys, Jerry, has graciously offered us a code for his Jerry's Game Shop on Etsy. You can just Google Jerry's Game Shop, but he sells token holders, unit card holders. They're stackable, right? With
yes,
yeah, they're stackable. They have magnets.
Yeah,
He has the mission card.
Mm-hmm.
the mission
Sleeves.
deck sleeves, and he has command card sleeves as well. And he recently just came out with STLs that you can download and print off trophies for your local tournaments. So he has a trophy, a 3D printed trophy for each faction, including Shadow Collective. Randy, he did that because of you.
It's because I'm a beloved member of our community.
Jerry also
And-
plays Shadow Collective. Unrelated.
Shadow
Unrelated
Collective
note.
are
Then
people too.
I think there's also one for best painted as well. So there's like overall, and then one for each faction, and then best painted. Really great products. I personally really like the mission decks. All the backs are color coded, so like the red is for the deployments, the green is for conditions, and then the blue is for the missions. It makes it really easy to kind of like shuffle your cards together and then flip them over, and so you don't lose them. Very high quality stuff. Definitely would recommend. He makes stuff for Legion, X-Wing, pretty much anything Star Wars related. So yeah, definitely go check out his shop on
And
Etsy.
if you buy anything, you can use code X&1Rocks. Get 10% off. So
And he's a great dude.
he is
so
a great
you
dude.
should support
I
him
like
because
Jerry
he's a
lot.
nice guy.
He's a good man.
Yep.
But
Doing
anyway,
good stuff down there in Shawnee.
For sure.
honestly, that token holder's bailed me out once or twice. Because
Yeah, token holder is awesome.
I just have a regular one, but I was like, I'm going to keep some spare ones in here. And there's been a time I've gone to a tournament, and for some reason mine wasn't in the bag, and I was just like, Pam, break the glass, give me the Jerry's token holder. I know where that one is, and it saved me.
I actually traveled with mine. I was worried it wouldn't travel, but I got a little. So I have my Army Painter wet palette strap. I kind of strapped it around the token holder, and everything was great in the backpack on the flight. It worked out. So I was pleased.
Awesome. But yeah, so final thoughts, guys, on I guess the LCQ and just Adepticon in general. Would Adepticon again? Yes.
Yeah,
No?
Preston, would you do the LCQ again? As someone who may be having to try to do the LCQ next year, what would you?
I'm just gonna get an invite next year. Like,
I know you're gonna get an invite. I'm not gonna get an invite. So if you are me next year, would you go to the Adepticon for the LCQ?
yes, I had a super good time. Even outside of Legion stuff, like a lot of the Shatterpoint stuff was super cool. All the vendor hall stuff was awesome. Just hanging out with everybody was a great time. So, like, it was totally worth it for me, even if I didn't make it into Worlds. 10 out of 10 would roll dice again.
Very cool.
A+++.
Well, favorite piece of swag you got?
Favorite piece of swag.
Whether it was free or ticketed.
Probably. Yeah, I think honestly, like in hindsight, I like the Shatterpoint tools, but I feel like if I actually paint up the ones that come with it, they'd look just as good. So I actually think the dice I bought are probably my favorite thing.
I heard great things about the dice. People have been shoving them in my face with their pictures.
I'm loving having all the black dice. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah. The aftermarket dice that I bought, not the prize wall dice.
Oh,
just to be clear.
Oh, sick burn.
I like my dice. I like the I got Darth Vader 2 in my swag bag for Shatterpoint. So that's pretty cool. I mean, there's so much stuff in that swag bag. But yeah, no, I think hanging out. I got super tired by the end. So definitely a grind. But yeah, it was really. I like the Swiss event. I guess we're stopping on Thursday. Swiss event was fun. I liked that I could show up late, even though they gave me a loss that I am not counting. So I'm claiming X&1 on Thursday of the event. So but yeah, no, it's cool. I could just show up round 2, play a couple games, the kind of like nice warm up. I kind of rolled in hot. I had like a 7 a.m. flight leaving Oklahoma City. So that was I was very tired at the end of that day. I think that's probably my fault, but a very long day the beginning of the weekend kind of got me tired
I
by
will
the end for
say
sure.
that the one thing that I hope they don't do next year is making people play 4 rounds in one day, because that's rough.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other options. Heats. I don't know, less
Yeah,
tickets, more sub qualifiers. I don't know. Something.
less invites, or start the main event on
Or
Thursday. I don't
regional
know.
winners get a bye, something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, four was a lot, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in part 2, but 4 is a lot.
I mean, just
Brian did it twice, and he's got a boot on. So
yeah.
the ultimate trooper. He played 8 games in 2 days wearing a boot, and I'm over here complaining. I only played like 6. But
I mean, hell, just watching the stream was a lot for me. Just watching 4 games was a lot. So
yeah,
I can't imagine what you guys went through. So
yeah. But we got a picture on the screen.
Look, we had a really good contingent of our community go. 10 guys from Oklahoma going up there. That's awesome. So really happy for you guys, and can't stay tuned for part 2 for more.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. We'll be getting into part 2, and then also there's a tournament this weekend, a local one at Game HQ. Me and Preston will be there. So lots of Legion in the past and in the future.
Shatterpoint bonus content episode?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Maybe?
I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, thanks for getting on, Preston.
You're right. That game sucks.
No, yeah, this is great. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And XN1 is like 9 games away, apparently. 12 if you're LCQ.
It's very far. It's very far away.
Give or take.
Okay, cool. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.